But you, the WBC, think that you better than everybody, don't you? So since you, the WBC, and you got the green belt, which don't mean it, and real belt is the ring belt, which is free, motherfucker. Who you talking about?
Can you talk about the difficulty of this decision?
Yes, it's very sad. It is very complicated to have to vacate a title, to withdraw recognition of a champion hurts very deeply.
And this is what TKO is saying. Why do you have to pay them? Don't pay them. Don't adhere to their...
Terence Crawford is calling for a boycott of the WBC after the organization stripped Shakur Stevenson of his title, strongly criticizing the governing body for what he sees as arrogant behavior, overly strict rules, and excessive fees. Crawford's comments add more pressure to the growing controversy, as he questions whether fighters should continue supporting an organization he believes places too many demands and financial burdens on them.
$100,000. What makes you so motherfucking better than any of the other sanctioned bodies? Huh? To that question. What makes you better than the WBO, the IBF, or the WBA?
Terence Crawford has openly clashed with Mauricio Suleiman, making it clear that if Suleiman wants the belt, he can take it. Crawford also criticized the WBC president over the $100,000 fee reportedly being charged to Shakur Stevenson, calling the payment unnecessary and questioning why fighters should have to deal with such a costly demand.
And take the f***ing belt. It's a trophy anyway.
The organization claims Shakur Stevenson violated its rules and failed to make the required payments, which ultimately led to him losing his WBC title status.
WBC super lightweight, then he unified and became undisputed in welterweight against WBC champion, who was Spence, in a great fight. He petitioned to fight a final elimination bout in super welterweight against Madeline Mock and remained champion in welter. The WBC supported him. He did not comply with the rules. Then he moves up to super middle and makes the fight of the century, beats Canelo, makes $50 million or around that. The WBC absolutely is not going to charge 3% of such an amount. We made a very clear 0.6%, which is $300,000.
Shakur Stevenson voiced his frustration on X, saying he had already paid the WBC after his previous fight and questioned why he should now hand over another $100,000, especially when he believes the organization's issues with Bud are being taken out on him. Terence Crawford also criticized the system, arguing that WBC officials benefit financially from fighters while the athletes take the physical punishment in the ring and are still expected to pay what he considers unnecessary sanctioning fees.
You know, and guess who gotta pay for it? Us fighters. We paying for y'all to come out here, have the time of y'all life, stay in the best hotels of y'all life, and it's all done on our dime. It's done on our dime. Do that sound right to y'all? It's crazy, ain't it? We the one out there getting battered, knocked upside our head, and every time we step foot in the ring, we gotta pay them a sanction fee like they the government. We getting taxed.
Shakur Stevenson continued expressing his anger, saying he would rather give the $100,000 to someone he cares about than pay people he believes do not deserve it. He also argued that the WBC had nothing to do with his fight and accused the organization of being upset over the situation, adding that they could keep the belt because it does not define him. Roy Jones Jr. also weighed in, saying that whatever disagreements may exist, taking a champion's belt away is unfair and disrespectful, and it ultimately makes the organization look bad.
A lot of people were really upset about it. And
I don't really want to get too deep into that. All I'm going to say is it's wrong for him to be stripped if he didn't even defend the title.
Yeah.
That's all.
Chris Manx has strongly condemned the WBC over the fees being demanded from Shakur Stevenson, calling the situation unfair and unacceptable. He argues that whatever money Shakur earns belongs to the fighter and that the organization has no right to claim a portion of it simply because he competes under its rules. Manx also says the entire sanctioning system needs serious change because fighters already put their bodies and careers on the line while dealing with the physical and mental demands of boxing. In his view, governing bodies should not add unnecessary financial pressure to athletes who have already sacrificed so much for the sport.
Crooked and shady as you can possibly get. And for the WBC to do this now, when sanctioning bodies are under attack, when the sanctioning system is under attack, this is a glaring example about why maybe they shouldn't exist. Maybe they shouldn't be in boxing if you are going to reach into the pocket of a fighter like Shakur Stevenson, ask for $100,000. According to Shakur, there's been no comment on this from the WBC. I asked for one. I talked to a member of their staff. I said, tell me what's going on here. And all I've seen is the Instagram post of the WBC saying they were stripping him. To reach into the pocket of a fighter for a fight that you have nothing to do with and asking for $100,000. I don't care how much money Shakur Stevenson made that night. That's his money. That belongs in his pocket. The WBC had nothing to do with it. It is disgusting. Disgusting that they stripped Shakur Stevenson of that belt. And Shakur would be right to never fight for a WBC belt.
Terence Crawford faced a similar dispute when he refused to pay a reported $300,000 WBC fee following his fight with Canelo Alvarez, and many believed he had every reason to challenge the demand. Crawford questioned why he should give the organization such a large amount, especially since the IBF, WBA, and WBO had accepted the fees he paid them without making the same complaints. He argued that his fight earnings were his personal business and that Mauricio Suleiman, the WBC president, had no valid reason to demand more money from him. Crawford even offered the WBC the standard 3% of his purse, but the organization reportedly wanted 6%, which was significantly higher than what other sanctioning bodies required. Critics have also questioned these fees because, beyond providing championship recognition and a belt, sanctioning organizations often play a limited role in the actual event, raising concerns about whether such large payments are justified.
I think Terence Crawford's well within his rights to say that I ain't giving you $300,000. Why? Like, why am I giving you $300,000? What for? And don't talk about my purse. Like Mauricio Suleiman saying Terence Crawford made 50 million. What's that got to do with you? No. And what I like as well about Terence, he said, look, I gave the IBF money, I gave the WBA money, I gave the WBO money. We haven't heard any of those organizations moan about the amount Terence Crawford gave to them. They're like, oh, we'll take it. Because ultimately, what are they doing? Apart from strapping a belt around your waist, what are they doing? And we'll get to that as well. So he then tried to give the WBC that amount of money as well. They clearly said, no, we're not taking that. We want a bit more. And then they're like, okay, normally we take 3%, but 3% of 50 million would have been too much. So you know what? We'll give you, we'll allow you to pay us 0.6.
The WBC declared Shakur Stevenson's title vacant after he moved up in weight, saying his absence left the division without an active champion. That decision opened the door for other contenders to fight for the belt, but the key point is that Stevenson did not lose the title inside the ring. The belt was removed through an administrative decision, not because of a defeat. His professional record and accomplishments remain unchanged, and the move does not take away from what he has achieved in boxing. Stevenson remains undefeated, and his record continues to stand as the main measure of his success rather than the WBC's administrative decision.
He ruled inactive at that weight class. So, despite nobody beating Shakur Stevenson, he is an undefeated fighter. Nobody took his belt. But for whatever reason, the WBC has decided him moving up has created some type of void and have now made and declared his title vacant, allowing the division to successfully move forward with new contenders. So in this case, Stevenson, he didn't lose his belt in the ring. Nobody beat him. He's still undefeated. The title was vacated administratively, which is a difference. And we need to establish the facts from the fiction. So nobody beat Stevenson. It doesn't really hurt his career, his official box rec. And it says he's suspended by the commission indefinitely. So I'm not sure if he has some type of injury, but usually when it says indefinitely, they got to get clearance from a doctor to come back. And again, this could be possibly from his fight with Shakur Stevenson. So this is a developing story, and we'll see ultimately how it plays out. what the WBC officially decides to do in terms of who's next and what's next. So what are the facts? What does this mean? Shakur Stevenson was not stripped for any type of misconduct. Shakur was not penalized per se, and Shakur Stevenson is not suspended. So it simply reflects the WBC has considered him no longer active at lightweight at this time. A bit political. That's the only thing that I can think of.
Analyst Oladipo believes the WBC's decision to strip Shakur Stevenson of his 135-pound title was both unusual and controversial. Stevenson, who remains undefeated, had explained that he planned to move up in weight for a period, but intended to return to the lightweight division. Despite that plan, the WBC made the belt vacant, arguing that his absence at 135 pounds had created an opening for other contenders to compete for the championship. Oladipo says the situation shows how strict and bureaucratic the WBC can be when enforcing its rules. He also points out that even though Stevenson's most recent fight was not a WBC title bout, the organization still required him to pay 50% of the sanctioning fee as though he had defended the belt.
Shakur Stevenson blast WBC and responds to being stripped of a 135-pound title. This is a bit wild. It's a bit wild. And the reason it's a bit wild, so many different reasons actually, but one of the biggest reasons is that Shakur's always said, I want to go up to fight Teo, but I want to come back down to 135. So basically, he's almost telling the WBC, let me go up there, I will come back down. And with what the WBC are going through right now, and this battle with Zuffa, where, you know, they've got some real big players and power over there, and they're saying F the belts, and WBC are fighting, saying none of the belts mean stuff. The last thing you want to do is have a public spat, a public back and forth with one of the biggest names in boxing right now. Now, Shakur Stevenson is one of the biggest names in boxing. And the thing about Shakur as well, you piss him off, this guy will go straight to social media and make it known that he's pissed off. And that's what he...
The analyst considers this policy excessive, especially because Stevenson never lost his championship inside the ring. Oladipo also says the WBC's treatment of Stevenson resembles disputes involving other fighters, showing how sanctioning fees and administrative decisions can create serious tension between champions and the organization. While the decision does not change Stevenson's undefeated record or erase anything he has accomplished, it does raise important questions about whether sanctioning body rules are fair, consistent, and transparent.
For him, or from him, sorry, which was $100,000. Now, a lot of you might say, well, one second, his last fight wasn't for the WBC, it was for the WBO and the ring title. Why did the WBC want any money from him? The WBC have a clause, I think it's either 7.3 or 7.4, yeah, where even if you do not fight for the WBC belt, if you're a champion of their belt, i.e. which Shakur Stevenson was, you have to pay 50% of the sanctioning fee as though the WBC belt was on the line. Does that make sense? Let me see if I can find it. I'm going to find it and read it out to so I'm not paraphrasing, because this is quite important and I think it's a joke. I think it's a joke. I really do. All right. Okay, yeah. All right, rule 7.3. I'm going to put this on the screen.
The analyst points out that Shakur Stevenson has consistently made it clear that 135 pounds is his main division, and that his moves to higher weight classes have only been for specific opportunities. After recently scoring a dominant win over former unified lightweight and WBO junior welterweight champion Teofimo Lopez, Stevenson now has a record of 22 wins, 2 losses, and no draws, with 13 of those victories coming by knockout. Despite Stevenson repeatedly stating that he plans to remain at 135 pounds unless a major opportunity takes him elsewhere, the WBC moved quickly to declare his title vacant instead of giving him more time to decide his next move.
Shakur Stevenson made it abundantly clear that he's a 135-pounder. He's going up in weight just for situational fights. He just defeated 2-division world champion, former unified lightweight, and now former WBO junior welterweight superstar Teofimo Lopez in dominating fashion. He's now 22 wins, 2 losses, no draws, 13 wins by way of knockout. After a beautiful performance, a dominating performance, the WBC, in a rush to do nothing, in a rush to do nothing.
Stevenson has also shown interest in fighting Lamont Roach, who has moved up to the number 2 position in the WBC's 135-pound rankings. He has never suggested that he plans to stay at 140 pounds permanently, making the WBC's decision to quickly vacate his title even more questionable. Analysts argue that the organization acted without fully considering Stevenson's plans or his status as an undefeated fighter, raising fresh concerns about how the WBC makes administrative decisions and treats its top champions.
What he wants to do next? This dude, Shakur, has told the world I'm 135 pounds. I plan on competing at 135 unless there's a situation that presents itself. You got Lamont Roach, who you elevated to the number 2 fighter in the WBC at 135. Right? Shakur says yesterday, I'm willing to fight Lamont Roach. We're going to make it happen. Right?
From an analyst's perspective, Shakur Stevenson's move to 140 pounds could create a much more exciting future for his career and for boxing. Although he could eventually return to 135 pounds, that option appears less appealing after his dominant win over former 2-division champion Teofimo Lopez. Analysts believe the WBO title and the lineage championship Stevenson now holds could carry even more importance at 140 pounds, where several major fights are available. One of the biggest possibilities would be a showdown with WBO welterweight champion Devin Haney, a matchup that could become one of boxing's most anticipated fights in 2026. The 140-pound division also features several elite-level fighters, giving Stevenson plenty of opportunities to face strong competition, build his legacy, and create major moments for the sport.
In the 140-pound division, I think there's more attractive fights in the 140-pound division, because if you would have gone back to the lightweight division, Muay Thai would probably be the most intriguing matchup. And I don't know if after beating Teofimo Lopez, that I think that would have been going backwards. I believe that the WBO strap that he got right now and the lineage title that he got on is more valuable in the 140-pound division than going back to the 135-pound division. You know what I'm saying? Because I think that he could also petition to beat the WBO mandatory to the welterweight champion in the WBO in Devin the Dream Haney. I think that would be an attractive matchup in 2026 following that type of performance versus Teofimo.
Although Keyshawn Davis currently holds the WBO mandatory position at 140 pounds, a matchup with Shakur Stevenson does not appear likely, showing how mandatory obligations can sometimes get in the way of the fights fans actually want to see. Overall, analysts believe Stevenson's move to 140 pounds could strengthen his legacy by putting him in line for bigger challenges and more meaningful matchups. It could also create more exciting fights for fans while allowing Stevenson to continue building his reputation as one of boxing's top fighters.
Those are the four kings, the Fab Five, whatever you want to call it. And I think that's just better for the sport of boxing. That's better for Shakur Stevenson. And I think that's a very winnable fight right there. We know that Keyshawn Davis is in WBO mandatory position right now in the 140-pound division, but we all know that they're not going to fight. So, we all could keep on asking Keyshawn and Shakur, when are you going to fight? Are you going to fight? Both of these guys already saying they're never going to fight again. So, Keyshawn Davis is going to be moving up to the 147-pound division, right? So, unless that Tank was active at 135, that's the only fight that the world want to see at 135 is Shakur versus Tank. We're not going to see Kid Austin versus Shakur Stevenson at 135. That Shakur, the Kid Austin, he lost that up.
That's all for today's video. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more boxing updates. Until next time.